welcome, Reza, to the podcast, to the fan podcast. We appreciate you taking the time. How are you guys feeling in training camp these days? I know we like to follow you guys, and we see that you're training. Is it all outdoors right now, or are you still going back and forth indoor and outdoor?
At the moment, even if the weather hasn't been the best, but
Mm.
allowed us to train outside, outdoors in our stadium. So that it's been really good training every day, especially being in the stadium. It's our favorite thing, even if the weather, as I said, is not the best at the moment. Still,
Mm.
we can put the work in. We have, our dressing rooms, our gym there. So we really enjoy the moment.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And like I said, we see the clips every day that they put out. We like to follow along. You guys seem to be all just getting ready to go. And we saw you at the kickoff party that we had last week
Yeah.
too. So all
Yeah.
the guys seem pretty excited and ready to go. How do you handle? Like I said, I asked. We had to interview with Daniel Crutzen last week as well. And so far for Forge, every year we get to do CONCACAF very early in the year, but then there's a big break in between, and then you have to kind of go back into training again. And so, how do you sort of maintain the energy and the momentum, like, even through the whole break to get ready for the new season?
Yeah, so that's one of the hardest things we have to handle when you start and stop and start again, and how you have to keep your body in good shape. Even if we stop with our team, we still have to do individual practices that we have from the team. They give us some programs, so we stay in good shape and stay fit. And the only good thing about that is the mental side, that you have some time to rest mentally. You don't have the pressure that you have week in and week out. But we handle it in the best way by going preseason with the team in Mexico, preparing ourselves for the two games. Then we had the time to rest, and now we're back in with full of energy, full of positive energy, and preparing
Yeah.
ourselves for the whole season.
Excellent. No, like we kind of get the same idea. So what do you do? Like I said, what's a typical day like for you guys training? I know you sort of go to the stadium or the indoor and you train at the facility there, but do you when you leave there, do you have like a nutrition plan from the club to sort of tell you sort of what kind of diet to do? Do you do training by yourself, like on in addition to what you do with the club?
So with the club, what we have, it's everyday training. As we know, we go early morning. Some guys want to eat breakfast at home. Some we have a kitchen that we can have our breakfast there. Then we start with gym workout. Sometimes before training, sometimes after training is the training that we have. Of course, we have some
Mhm.
videos, some games. Depends what we want to talk about, defensive stuff or in general, like our tactical stuff.
Hmm.
And we have our lunch. After that, everyone's have his own program. But about nutrition that you said, the most of us we are in a spot in our life that we know what we should eat and what's best for us. We're professionals,
Hmm.
so we know how to take care of our bodies. But of course, if they're younger players, we have people talking to them more and let's say teaching them.
Speaking of that too, like again, one of the things that we asked Daniel and we asked most of the guys that come on here is like, so when it's time for a game day, so it's the morning of the day of the game, do you have a certain diet that you have in the morning? I know Daniel said he just likes to eat a big bowl of pasta and he gets himself ready. And then I actually asked him about you because we heard about you that you like to make sure you have a haircut before every game. Like you have a little superstition or little thing. Is there little and Daniel said that you like, you're superstitious. You like
I have lots of
to
superstitions,
sing.
to be honest. Yeah,
What's
haircut
one
is
of the more funny ones that you
yeah,
have?
haircut is one of the funny ones. But of course, I eat the same meal. I have pasta with chicken and mushrooms. My wife has a way to prepare that, and
Mhm.
I love it, so I continue with that. Of course, I depends the time of the game. I wanna take a walk somewhere really quiet, somewhere really calm, and I have close where I live. It's a small forest, so I go for a walk over there in the mornings, early morning, and then eat my lunch and prepare myself for the games.
Any other little superstitions, like you have to wear the same shoes or the same socks or anything like that? That's
I have
kind
to.
of
I can't remember everything. I have a lot, to be honest. I have a lot in my daily routine, but especially game day, as you said, haircut. Like I want to do, it's the how I do the stuff, the one after the other. Like for example, I want to put my left shoes first, my tie my
Mhm.
left uh, laces first, or wear some stuff that it's
Mhm.
nothing specific, like, but it's some rules I follow every time. That in my head they're rules, they're not like,
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
feel they're gonna help me, even if they're small things that no one can think or no one cares. But they're, and starting even from the bed in the morning, I have to make the bed before I start anything else. So
Yeah.
it's a crazy small thing, but that's how I want to start my day.
Yeah, no, and most athletes have a routine like that they follow, and they just kind of keep themselves on track that way and stuff. Is this
Yeah.
something that you developed more once you became a professional, or is it something you were doing as a teenager? And because you started playing in Olympiakos when you were like around in the academy when you were 9, 10 years old, correct?
Yeah. I started really young there. I was there for 7, 8 years, and this team grew me up. And in one way, part of my character is because of them having different coaches there. And there is an I don't know how to explain that. Like, and this team Olympiakos has an identity, and
Hmm.
you have to be good in many different things to become professional there. So they prepare you for the highest level to be, for example, in the first team of Olympiacos. So that you have to get ready from really young to learn whatever you have to learn when you go in the first team, to be ready from everything. So when you go there, the coach does have to spend time with teaching you things that you have to already know,
Right.
and be more focused to the trainings and how you're
Hmm.
gonna win games. So
No, excellent. So how does the process work then in Europe or in Greece, right? Because again, you
yeah,
started there when you were like 9 years old. Did
yeah.
they are they scouting you as a player at that point? I mean, you don't have, I don't know, do you have an agent at that time when you're that
No,
young, or that comes
no,
much
that's
later
too
on?
young.
Or
Yeah, that comes
yeah,
much later.
yeah.
But yeah, they have many scouts, especially Olympiakos is the best team and academy in Greece. And
Mhm.
I can say that's one of the, I don't say top five, top 10 already, but it's one of the best in Europe too. And they've shown uh, 2 years ago they won the YAF Champions League.
Mhm.
So it's a big thing. But yeah, they have so many scouters. And I was playing somewhere in my neighborhood in a local team, and they look at me, they liked me, and they called me over. So I
Mhm.
joined the academies of Olympiacos when I was 11, I think.
Mhm. And then when once you join the academy, are you still living at home and going for training, or are you
Yeah. I
you
was
go
one
to
of
play?
the lucky people that I'm in the city of Olympiacos. So the stadium was 10 minutes away, and the training ground was 10 minutes away from my home where I born and grow up. So it was my area. So that was much easier for me, still living with my parents and
Hmm.
playing the game, because other kids for 15, when we were 15, they joined from different parts of Greece and live inside the training camp. But I was with my parents.
And then eventually you move up to, like you said, to the first team, and you had some training with them out of the academy, and then you had experience across Europe. Like then you had a chance to play there. You've also played in England with Nottingham Forest for a little while.
Yeah.
Then coming over to Forge for a bit, and then back to Albania, back to Forge. So having seen all these different experiences, all these different places, what are some of the things you notice maybe that are different between the way that's done training camps and development of youth development, or even just coaching of the European style versus like in Canada? And I mean, we know Bobby, he's had some experience early on with Olympiacos too, with the academy prior to you being there even. But what are some of the differences you notice between, say, like Canada and North America compared to Europe?
I heard also the Krutzen talk about that, and I'll agree with that. I don't want to repeat that again. That
Hmm.
it's very important what he said about how you compete, and you have teams that you can compete in your age, where Canada is so big that
Hmm.
That's one of the toughest things.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's the most important thing. I can add many small things, but we have to be realistic and honest. Like
Hmm.
soccer in Canada hasn't been for so many years. It's growing up. It's
Hmm.
growing the last 10, 20 years, and so it's still early. And I really hope it can develop more as it developed the last few years.
Hmm.
We see big differences in soccer in this country. I hope, and it will continue the same way. But that's the main reason. Back in Europe, we know the teams are there for 120 years.
Yes.
They start, so makes sense too,
Yeah. So even then, so beyond the youth development, if you're just looking at the CPL, what kind of things do you think you see? Like you said, you've had two full seasons previously, and now you're back for a third season in CPL. At that level, what do you think might they could do to improve? Whether it's the scheduling or just the way that the games are being conducted. Is there anything there that you notice that you maybe say, hey, they do it this way in Europe that maybe the CPL could adopt and sort of improve at the way they go about it?
they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're doing whatever they can do, because there are some things you can do and some things you cannot change. And we can talk about comparing, but you cannot compare because the things are not the same. As, for example, we have different timing that we play with Europe. There are some things that the weather doesn't let us play here in the winter.
Sure.
So there are some things that you can say, but there are small things that I can see they are improving a lot, because they have people. As I can see, CPL has people that they put lots of work there to try and build this league, and that's the most important thing. That this league has to grow. Of course, it cannot be in 5 years. Uh, be in the same level with Europe, but it's important that in last few years they've done big steps, and we have to continue the same way. They have
Absolutely.
to, but with us in their back.
Yes, of course. Then I have like a bunch of questions that the fans want to ask, and some
Yeah.
some of them are kind of funny, some of them are a bit more serious. Um, One of the ones that the questions they want to ask is, aside from Tim Hortons Field, of all the stadiums in the CPL, which one do you like to play at the most?
Sorry again.
So, not counting Forge's home field,
Okay. Yeah.
of all the other teams, which field do you like to play at the best? Like, is it Halifax or in Calgary? Maybe in Ottawa at TD Place there. Which one do you prefer the best besides ours?
It's the same, but of course, I would say maybe the teams that have the more fans, or especially the teams that they have fans that they don't like me, or they want to talk to me more and bother me. Maybe that my favorite ones, and that's Calgary ones. I think Calgary is the one that they go over me the whole game. I listen to them talk a lot, so that's something that motivates me, and honestly helps me to play more, play better.
Excellent. Um, the other question we had asked, and we asked Daniel this as well, when it comes to taking a penalty shot, or if it's a penalty shootout, do you prefer the fans, like us in the stands, to be quiet or to make a lot of noise?
It's hard. You have to ask someone that takes lots of penalties, because I'm one of these players that I'm not taking lots of penalties. But I don't know. I want noise. Whatever happens, I want noise. So maybe the guys that they take more penalties, they should know. They should have a better answer than me.
No problem. So in the CPL, or actually anywhere, like in the CPL and your time in Europe, who are some of the players that have been the most difficult to play against?
I played from young age with many good players, and now they are in really high level. And
Mhm.
Haaland, maybe we played against Norway. I was playing against with Albania national team against Norway. I played against him. I played against some really good players, and now they are in high level. But yeah, I think Haaland was one of them.
Excellent. Um, Going back, then you said you have Albanian heritage. You played for the Albanian national team, and this is kind of an odd question, but somebody wanted to ask, what is the favorite dish, Albanian dish, that maybe your mother or somebody that makes for you, your favorite Albanian food?
It's a Balkan one. We call it burek.
And what is
It
that?
it's like files of like bread with cheese or meat inside.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
I told you the fans have some funny questions they have to
yeah.
ask. So,
I like them. Yeah,
and then we have like just a bunch of very quick questions for you, and we'll get into this too. And said so. We call this like the penalty shootouts. We have like 10 questions, very quick, just easy answers, whatever comes to your head first.
yeah.
Because so as a when you were a child, who was your favorite footballer to watch, favorite soccer player?
I think Sergio Ramos.
Ramos. And now as you got older, is that changed or is it still Ramos?
He was my idol when I was young. So now I don't really have any idol or someone. I have many players that I like, but I think I'm gonna stay with him.
Excellent. And then as a child, I mean, obviously you went into the Olympiakos Academy, Olympiakos, but aside from Olympiakos, who was your favorite team to watch play?
As a kid, Real Madrid.
Real Madrid?
Yeah.
You don't like Barcelona at all? No.
I don't hate them. I don't hate them, but I'm supporting Real Madrid my whole.
There you go. So what age? So I mean, obviously you went to the academy very young, but at what age did you really sort of start to think that, being a professional football player was going to be the future that you wanted to go?
Professional came later. So when you start enjoying with your friends in the street,
Sure.
in your neighborhood. I was doing taekwondo in the start when I was a child, but then I started playing with my friends outside, outdoors, soccer, and then I realized I love soccer more than taekwondo. And then later on, Olympiakos, that's the way they treat you there. They treat you the way that you have to become professional player. You have to become ready to be a professional player. So, or you follow the rules to do that, to become that, or you stop playing and you continue
Mhm.
something else.
And that was the next question too, is like if you hadn't become a professional football player, what other sport? Is there another sport or another profession altogether that you maybe saw? Maybe it was Taekwondo or something else that you would have become.
Yeah. I used to like fighting sports, so maybe I will do something with fighting sport. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's not surprising.
Because you guys know that I tackle a lot and I play hard, and some of the fans like it, some not, but that's the aggressive nature that I have.
No, we all love it. You keep doing that. We're perfect, especially and as you said, especially when you play Calgary. Make sure you make
Yeah.
sure you do it to them. Um, so are you the kind of person that has breakfast every morning or no?
Breakfast, yeah, for sure. I'm not leaving my house without breakfast.
And for you, what's breakfast? Is it like a full breakfast, bacon and eggs, or is it like coffee and toast?
No, a full breakfast.
Eh,
I
perfect.
don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I just eat a heavy breakfast and I'm good to go.
Excellent. So now we got a couple of questions about Forge players. Who is the funniest Forge player in the locker room?
Nana Poma.
And Poma? And why is he the funniest? Why do you think? Does he tell jokes or he just makes comments or
For everything. He's just ready. He's just ready for everything.
eh, no, it's perfect. In the locker room or in training, which player plays the best music and which one has the worst music?
Lately, I'm the DJ because I don't know why. Lately, I'm the DJ, but I'm not gonna say I'm the best one. I'm gonna go with Brian is the best. The worst, I don't know, Kato.
Kato? And why is Kato the worst? What kind of music does he play?
No, no, he just put random things. That's why I don't know. I'm not gonna say.
No, that's fair. That's fair. If you're traveling with the team and you have to end up sharing a room after staying overnight, which player would you like to choose to be your roommate for the trip?
I'm gonna say my roommate, Jevremovic. He's my roommate.
There you go. What else do we have here? So then we got a couple of questions about Hamilton. And except you've been here for a few full seasons, and you said you're sort of staying in the East End, Stony Creek area of Hamilton,
Yeah,
but you're familiar with the city. So in the city, do you have a favorite restaurant or cafe that you like to go to?
cafe not really because I don't drink coffees, but usually I go for meals with my friends. I must say I have a favorite burger spot. is a hamburger.
Oh, nice.
Ottawa Street, I think. If
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not
one on Ottawa Street. There's a
yeah,
couple around, but Hamburger on Ottawa Street, that's
yeah,
excellent.
yeah,
Yeah. So aside from restaurants and stuff, when you're just around the city, like you mentioned, you go for walks and you've got the
yeah.
forest nearby. Are there other places that you like to hang out in Hamilton sort of regularly?
Usually I go where it's quiet, so I prefer like especially when the weather is better in the lake,
Mm. So you go for walks down by the
just
lake
for
and
by the lake or with my bike or
yeah, oh, that's excellent. And then I guess the last question we have, and it's the same as I asked Daniel too. If you could live anywhere in the world, pick any place in the world that you wanted to live, where would you choose? Or which places would you choose if there's more than one?
the place that I born and grow up. That is Piraeus, Athens, Olympiakos city.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in Athens like 2 years ago, and
How was it?
that was beautiful. I went to Athens. We went to Santorini. We went all around,
Oh,
and
so
there,
you've seen. So
yeah, a little bit
you
into
took a Greek
Turkey
taste.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'll ask you a last question that I asked Bobby. I asked Bobby, and I asked a couple of the other coaches there. Next time I go to Athens, where should I go if as a tourist? Where should I go? I've seen the Acropolis. I've seen the sort of the tourist things, but is there a restaurant there? Is there a place I should go? Something I
Oh, you
have to
have so
see?
many. Give me a
Oh, I
text. But
know.
but for if it's a good weather, you have to go in islands. If it's winter, stay in Athens or Thessaloniki. There are many options for winter. But if it's summer, I would recommend to stay in Athens. Just go in any island. Just close your eyes, pick one island, and I'm telling you, Hannah, you're gonna have the best time.
Yeah. Which island? I know we went to. So we went to Santorini. We went to Mykonos. A couple other places. Beautiful
In
beaches.
in your
Beautiful
list, you
homes.
have to add Milos.
Yeah, I think I'm
It's
not sure
called
if we went there.
Milos.
Yeah, we need to go there. I was on a cruise, so we
Okay.
stopped, but I don't think we went there. And we went to a couple places
Yeah.
in Turkey and around there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which place would you go? Because you're still a young guy too. Which one has a good nightlife? Like you can go to a dance club, or you like a DJ. You can go dancing or
Yeah, but
you
it's not my favorite nightclubs, and I like them. I like them. I used to like them before, but not anymore. It's not. Now I am more with the boys barbecue. I prefer this kind of things.
you're a boring old man like me.
Yeah, yeah.
Once upon a
Maybe.
time, it's a lot of fun, and then you get a family, and
Yeah.
and you got to go to bed early. Like that's the difference. That thing I asked Daniel as well, I asked you. Um, he's a little bit older, I think, but what's the big difference you notice in training? Like I said, when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, you're full of energy, you can do whatever you want. You get a little bit older, you've had a
Yeah.
bit more injuries and stuff. How do you approach training a little bit different than you did maybe back at that time?
I can't act like I'm really young or I'm really old because I think I'm 25, so I'm in the best age
You're
where
in between.
I still have energy, but I'm getting experience. So I think I'm in the best age and I'm enjoying the way I am now with the energy I have and the experience I'm getting slowly, slowly.
Yeah, but no more late night parties before a match.
It's not, we have early morning training, so even if we want, we don't have time for
There
that.
you go. Perfect. No, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, that's all the questions we have. Did you have something you wanted to say to the fan group or to the fans out there listening?
I always have to say thank you to all the fans for supporting us the 4 seasons that I've been here, and I would just want and wish to continue the same way and supporting us the same way, and we're always gonna thank you, and you also are our motivation to go and win everything we can, starting from games and then to trophies. So thank you. It's the biggest thing.